Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I know many of you saw my video where I mentioned I was going to be taking a zentangle class, and I wanted to share what I learned. First of all, I'm really tired. I have been suffering some huge fatigue lately. So when we walked into the facility, it was actually at a church, and of course I parked at the wrong end. There was only one car there. I was like, what? Only one person? I'm the only one here besides the instructor. But anyway, I walk in, the front of the church was all quiet, near the sanctuary, and I found the restroom quickly and took care of that, and then gathered myself and started walking down the hallway, and all the rooms were dark. I saw up ahead there was an office with a light on, and when I approached, I questioned the gentleman sitting at his desk. I assume it was the pastor, but I'm not certain. Anyway, I said, I'm here to take a class. He said, you are? I said, yeah, there's an art class here today, zentangle. He's like, what is it? I said, it's like a sketching doodling. It's called zentangle. He's like, I have no idea. I'm like, really? I said it was in the paper, and I showed him the magazine clipping, or newspaper clipping, I mean. So I had read about it in the paper. So anyway, I said it's with Partners in Prevention. He's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Their office is at the end of the hall. So he walked me down there and then introduced me to the director, and they directed me to the proper social room. I came in the wrong end of the church. Anyway, there was 12 of us there, and we were asked to make a name tag in very large letters. And I learned to draw these mushrooms there. So this is what I did. And there's terminology for all of this, and I didn't take notes. I usually do. I didn't take notes. I just started sketching. So let me show you what we got. This awesome little canvas bag, and everything was laid out so nicely on the table. And I chose a spot near the window up front. So we got this graphite pencil, and I guess I should have written down the author's names, and she showed a book. So it was and we got this micron pen. She said these pens are really nice. You don't need to press hard. You just gently sketch your image. So what we started off with first, I did start to write notes. So you're going to start with 4 dots. So go gather a piece of paper. You can have, what is this, 3 by 3? Let me see what size this is. So 3.5 by 3.5. So I didn't know that zentangle was copyright protected. So we got 2 of these, and we sketched for about 1.5 hours. So it took me 1.5 hours to do this, but there was a lot of talking. We were given 2, and so as I said, let's just start a new one. I don't want to write on that paper though. Okay, so I moved well, the lighting still isn't great, but let's just start with 4 dots. See, I'm really tired and I'm having trouble, keeping my thought process. There, how about if I just turn it over? Okay, start with 4 dots. I'm just gonna turn my paper into grids. So it's approximately 3 by 3, but go ahead. Your dots can be exactly in the corners. You know, just do what feels right to you. As you can see here, this isn't really, this is more rectangle than square, like my original piece. So I started with my 4 dots. So place them anywhere. And that's simply called 4 dots. Then you take your pen and you draw a border. You can use a pencil, you can use any marker, but this micron was the utensil of choice there. So okay, so you have your 4 dots, you have your 4 border lines, and then the next step is called string. So we were asked to create a line anywhere within your border. So I'm going to go opposite of what I did before. That's it. Now your line, you make your line wherever your brain wants your line to go. So I did those kind of similar. And before I go any further, I should say I really only learned these first 2 steps because for this section I put my lines way too close together. So okay, back to our string. Now you're going to start what's called tangle, and you choose a section. So here's our first tangle. This section was what we did first. So you're going to draw a half moon. Just place your half moon anywhere you want. Anywhere along your string and one line of your outer border. You can pick whichever section you want. So continue with your half moons. You go right in the corner if you want. You can go really small if you want. You can go larger. However you want to make your half moons. They can come right into the corner if you want. And the point, she mentioned spinning along a lot of times through the course. So you saw me flip my paper. So it's okay for you to flip your paper and move it around. Okay, so you have that. Now I want you to color in all of your half moons. Just color in each and every one of your half moons. Okay, so you got your half moons colored in. You can color them in solid, you can color them in sketchy like I did, and the instructor said if you leave them sketchy like that, they just show up as more sparky. So you can see my half moons here aren't even colored in completely, so I was okay with that. So next, you're going to draw an aura around each of your half moons. So draw a border as far out or as close in as you want your aura to go. And you're going to continue all the way through all the way through your inner string border. So you do you. You decide how deep, how short. Okay, you got that first inner row done. Now you're going to do it again. Now what we are doing is called orizing. So we're drawing an aura around our last aura. And as you see, I'm flipping my paper. And while we were sketching, doodling, zenning, orizing, she had soft music playing. It's very relaxing. So take a deep breath in. Exhale. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let it all out. Do that again. Deep inhale. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let it out gently. And just kind of shake your shoulders. Roll your shoulders back. Drop your pen. Shake your fingers. And go back. And you're going to continue drawing an aura around each and every previous aura. And you're going to end up looking like that. That's my favorite part so far. Although the mushrooms are really fun. But this one on paper didn't come out quite as nice. I do like the marker, the black marker. So go ahead and continue on. Okay, how did you do on your half moons and aura? That came out kind of cool. I'm liking the effect on this heavier cardstock. This is more like a watercolor paper. Doesn't, wow, 2004 zentangle, copyright protected. So technically I shouldn't be sharing this, but this is my art, so I'm allowed to share that. Okay, let's go on to the next step. Choose your, choose your space. I'm just gonna go right in here and just draw a spiral. Draw a spiral and let it close. And I also refer to this as the eternity symbol because my dear late friend Ginny often would say, the spirit lives forever. So I like to believe her artful spirit is with me. So choose where you want your spirals. You can even do like a half spiral and just have it end. So just carry on and fill up this space with your spirals. And then in between where you have a little bit of space, you can either color that in dark, or you can just add a little extra triangle in there. Add some smaller ones if you need. Add some extra lines so it looks like that last spiral has spread out beyond. And then sort of looks like there's even a spiral in behind there. So I hope you enjoyed this section. I'll just call it spiral. So now I'm going to show you how to do a mushroom. I didn't quite understand this section because my lines were too small. It should have ended up looking more like that, and I wrote down some notes. You can see here I wrote down the basic pattern. So I'm going to practice that more before I continue with that part of the lesson. So let's just do mushrooms in here. I think that'll be cute. So you draw your stem, 2 lines parallel. I'll start at the top of the stem, come around, stop at the stem, start on the other side of the stem, and complete that sort of, I made it oblong, you can make it round. So then go beneath that line up, and you can make your mushroom round and come around. So you're drawing a border around that top tip, and then you're going to draw the gills, which are the lines inside of that underside of the cap. So here we go again. Stem, 2 lines parallel. Take your pen, come right across to that other tip, come around, stop at the stem, start on the other side of that line, and I just made a mistake. Well, let's just fix that. There, there's a flat mushroom. Well, way to go with the blooper, Lori. Okay, stem, 2 parallel lines. Now go from the tip of that line to the other, come around, and back up to the top. And now you're going to draw a border around that inner circle, which is the underside of the cap. So go below that drawing. I'm going to make this guy a little taller. Come around and on that side of the stem. And once again, draw your gills. And let's try it again. Let's make a little itty bitty one. Half circle, border. And it kind of looks like the mushroom is coming out of my sort of spider web. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's do just a mushroom. Stem from the top of that line to the top of that line, half circle, stop at the outside line, start on the other side of the line, and then join it. Now do a border around the previous half circle, up and around, and there's your mushroom. Isn't that just adorable? And now I'm getting really tired, so I think I'm gonna have to go take a nap. But get out my graphite, and if you have a blender, these are really cool. These are inexpensive. They're just a roll of paper. Probably make one yourself, maybe with like a coffee filter. Roll it up tight, and so with your blender, you're gonna choose a side, probably the underside of this mushroom. You're gonna shade it in, color that in, and then down. And then the point of the blender is to just take and get that shadow in there, so that really makes the mushroom pop. As you just see on this one, I like it on the cardstock better. So you can see I shaded in my mushrooms on the underside. We'll go right inside and then do one more shadow down here. So then you just blend it in. That helps to, you know, move the graphite and get a nice shadow picture. We also shaded in around our spider web, sort of honeycomb channels. Where's my original one again? You can see even with this one how much shading I did. We came all the way across. I even like that sound. Came all the way across and then took our and went right up into the design. And then you see here where it's lighter, that sort of makes that design pop. And then the mushrooms pop as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this little instructional video. Give my channel a mention and a like, and please subscribe. I've recently reached 410 subscribers, and I appreciate those of you who come back continually. And I'm happy to make new crafting, journaling, sketching friends. So peace, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your night.